Let's move to this story here on Talk. Interesting one. The French Interior Minister has said that 10 British far-right activists have been banned from France after engaging in actions to stop migrants crossing the English Channel in small boats. Well, I don't think that in itself makes you a far-right activist. What's the truth of all of this? Let's speak with Elliott Stanley, who's a founder member of Operation Raise the Colours. Elliott, good afternoon to you. We should point out, firstly, by the way, that as far as you know, you're not one of those 10, and I don't think you identify as being far-right. Good afternoon.
Certainly. Good afternoon, Ian. No, certainly not. I don't identify as far-right, and, you know, it's a slur that we've been having thrown our direction now since we started putting the flags up in the summer, along with all the rest of the nonsense, you know, xenophobic, racist, Nazi. But yeah, to learn that, well, I actually had the communication that the Interior Minister sent out yesterday sent to me. There's no individuals been named in it specifically, but the presumption would be that because, you know, I'm one of the co-founders of Raise the Colours, and that he's raised the colours that he's specifically named in that, that and I have been to France also, so the presumption would be that I'm possibly one of the people named, but none of us from Raise the Colours have, you know who is actually banned from France so far.
Now, there are, of course, worse things that can happen in life than being banned from France. I mean, I think we can all have some fun thinking about that. But you might think if they are going to ban you from France, they'd at least have the decency to tell you specifically that it's you.
Absolutely. You know, so it's an intriguing one, because if we want to go on, if me, the wife and my 4 kids want to go on holiday, what happens? Do I turn up to the airport, or do we turn up to the port and then get... I get ceremonially, you know, detained, or whatever's going to happen. Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting. I find it fascinating that the Raise the Colours operation and putting flags up, and, you know, some people love it, some people don't like it. That's fine. It's a democracy. But the idea that it somehow means you're a far-right nut job because you put a flag up. Imagine telling, you know, a punter in a pub, for example, in the 60s or the 70s, that, you know, Keith over there sticking some Union Jacks up outside, he must be an extremist. I mean, everyone would laugh you out the pub. What are you talking about? How would you correlate putting a flag up with being a mad extremist? But that's what you guys have dealt with.
You'd have to ask the people on the left that have got that weird opinion about us. I couldn't answer on their behalf. It's lunacy as far as we're concerned. And you know, this Laurent Nunez, the French Interior Minister, who's banned us from France, it's amazing how he can ban us so quickly, but, you know, for documenting what's going on over in France with the boats, and but yeah, he can't seem to get his act together when it comes to actually stopping the illegal invasion of our country.
I'm pretty sure that even by French law, they would have to, you know, the French love a law, so they're not dissimilar to us in that respect. You know, I would have thought legally, you know, I mean, I wouldn't pay out to go to a solicitor to get the official answer to this, but I'm sure the Home Office would have an obligation to tell you, wouldn't they, if you or someone would?
Absolutely. I mean, I had a thought yesterday that, you know, everyone's obsessed with the ECHR, and I wondered if it would convene the ECHR where my human rights are being impacted by not being allowed to go to France. That would be an interesting question if we could pose that back to the French, wouldn't it?
Well, yes. I mean, you know, it's a country that's got a lot of problems in many, many areas. And the last time I looked, there's been an awful lot of people that have gone to France and made iffy speeches and done all sorts of things that have done so with a free pass. And similarly over here, we've invited all sorts of characters. And there's one Dutch girl at the moment was told she's not welcome. I'm sure you're familiar with the story.
Absolutely.
But, you know, it's like, wow. I mean, what's the criteria here? Putting up a flipping flag, trying to stop boats? I mean, why would that be seen as sort of some kind of far-right activity?
I think there's we've had a resounding response at raisethe.colours.org.uk, which is our organisation, and we've had a lot of people trying to volunteer to help in our endeavours in France. And I think there's the potential where we've unnerved the French authorities slightly, and we're on the cusp of exposing just how incompetent they are, and they've done it through sheer embarrassment. I think there could be that, you know. Who knows?
It may be, but well, I'll tell you what, Elliott, let's keep in touch, because I'd love to find out if you get the letter or a knock at the door and the minister from France is standing there saying, "I'm very sorry, Elliott," or some accent like that's the best I could do. But, you know, you're not welcome round these parts. I'd love to know. Elliott, we'll keep in touch. Thank you. Elliott Stanley, founding member of Operation Raise the Colours, who suggests it could be him. He's had some kind of communication, but nothing that has said. He specifically, with his name on it, do they not have to offer you some kind of official documentation? If you were banned, bear in mind, this is the EU. The EU, I know the ECHR and all of that is not the EU, but these are countries that will play that card about your human rights and your rights to this and your rights to that and goodness knows what else. All over the show, every day of the week. How often do we see it? This is every day we see one of these bizarre stories where someone's been told, despite being a serial sex offender, they've got the right to stay. There was a fellow the other day that had the right to stay here because he didn't have any friends. I mean, really? We've had the chicken nugget boy. We had one about haircuts. There's been a few others, really bizarre ones. But yeah, didn't know, he was too lonely or something. Well, if he's got no friends, he's in the wrong place, isn't he? Wouldn't that be a reason for him to go somewhere else, to find friends? If you've tried it and you couldn't find any, go somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, given that we live in a jurisdiction, as in Europe, the continent, and the ECHR, which underpins so much of our law, you might think that banning anyone doing anything, you'd have to really hit a horrendous criminal act to find yourself banned by the French, who are absolutely flag wavers. Sorry to bring the flags into this again. Flag wavers of all this regulation. Really strange. 0344 499